wheels touch of joyous and... But there is another kind of traveler here, too. For him, there is also a catch in the throat, a different kind. He is the international smuggler, and he knows that he is being hunted. Every traveler, before stepping freely into the stream of American life, must submit to inspection by the United States Customs Service, which guards the borders of the nation. For unfortunately, the international smuggler carries no identification card, wears no uniform. He might be anyone. So it is that men like Inspector Jim O'Brien must silently ask the eternal question, honest or dishonest? And the smuggler waits, fearful of his own self-betrayal. Take the case of Bertha Matthews. She seemed to want to show how much she knew about Inspector O'Brien's job. So, to give her a good story to tell the folks, Jim checked her passport, an unusual request for a customs inspector. It was okay. Housewife, 5'8", pretty tall, seemed taller, a routine taxpayer. Just give her good marks for passing the examination and send her on her way. But there was something. She knew so much. 5'8". You know, tall women shouldn't wear those high shoes, and they usually don't. She was bland first, then indignant. In the end, the shoe came off. To Jim and the deputy collector, it was the same old story. A friend gave her the shoes, and incidentally, a full course in getting past the customs inspector. She also got her plane fare, maybe a few dollars, too. In her greed, she never asked what might be in the shoes, but she crossed the Atlantic cooling her toes on $500,000 worth of hot ice. A man's training as a human lie detector caught Bertha Matthews, and that's what the customs school in New York City aimed to make Jim O'Brien when it taught him that his job literally had 10,000 duties, 10,000 different taxes collectible under the tariff laws. Under Inspector Walter Dominski, weights and measures expert, he developed an eye for shapes and sizes. And from Inspector Joseph A. Kennedy, whose 30 years of service include much secret, undercover work, Jim learned how the smuggler seeks to defraud the government of its lawful revenues.
I'm going to show you, men, a vest, one of the oldest means of smuggling, known as the smuggler's vest. In this vest, there's pockets secreted with articles that are smuggled. As I'm going to show you, men, how the articles are put in these various pockets. And these pockets are all through the vest. I want you men to be alert at all times to observe the passengers and how they're dressed and look for bulky articles. This is another method used by the smuggler. This is known as the belt, and in the belt there's various pockets where small packages can be concealed. You men have been instructed under your observation to note anything unusual about a trunk. For example, let's look at this one and see what can happen in a false compartment and what can be concealed there. I have here a bookend. These Asiatic articles are very tricky. Sometimes they have false compartments in them. Very nice way to smuggle articles. Be alert at all times. Holding the book up, notice, another means of smuggling. Now let's take the case of a mother, baby, and the baby's nurse traveling. The nurse thought this would be a good way to try to beat Uncle Sam. Let's look in this and see what happens. I have here two corks. There's always a possibility of articles being concealed, as you can see from this cutout. Don't overlook toothpaste tubes. There's always a possibility of something being secreted in them, as I'll show you in this tube. Let's open it up and see what happens. I want to say that this method is being used right at the present time, and there are actual seizures by the United States government.
Actually, Jim's biggest job is not examining passengers' luggage, but collecting duties on the billions of dollars of legitimate cargo that annually enters the nation's ports. At the same time, he must remain alert for such dodges as this: expensive, high-duty watch movements concealed within a piece of cheap, low-duty machinery. And he maintains curiosity about items like this old car, shipped from Mexico and now bound for Holland. Now, why should anyone waste his money? You could almost buy a new car for what it cost to ship this one so far. Well, this jalopy weighed 400 pounds more than the maker's tables indicated. That extra weight was $135,000 in illegal gold, which turned into diamonds in Europe's black markets would be worth a cool $500,000 when smuggled into the United States. Of the millions who enter the country each year, only a fraction of 1% are dishonest, either professionally or on an amateur basis. Take this lady entering with her maid. Just in case she had a little larceny in her heart, before touching the luggage, the inspector asked, "Do you have anything further to declare?" The lady said no. Then he went to work. Yes, the inspector went right to the hidden compartment in the suitcase. She never had a chance, for 3 cables had arrived a week ago from informers who, under U.S. law, share 25% of any fees, duties, and fines collected up to $50,000. First, there was the salesman in a fashionable store in a fashionable city. He knew that customs laws protect his firm's New York branch from illegal competition. Besides, he could use a guilder or a franc or a dollar or two himself. And there was the clever old cabinet maker who knew exactly how to build false suitcase bottoms and maybe achieve his wildest dreams of wealth. And who sent the 3rd cable? Well, you guess.
Raise your right hand. I solemnly swear.
I solemnly swear
To support and defend
to support and defend
the Constitution of the United
Yes,
States.
this is the lore of the smuggler that Jim O'Brien took with him on graduation day as he stood before Assistant Collector of Customs Frank B. Laughlin and solemnly raised his right hand.
faithfully discharge the duties of the office
Upon which I am about to enter.
upon which I am about to enter.
Mr. Levine, congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
James O'Brien.
Inspector O'Brien, congratulations.
Human lie detectors? Well, that's what they say about the men of the United States Customs Service. And their uncanny skill, their proverbial incorruptibility, their silent, endless question, honest or dishonest, stands as an eternal warning. Smugglers, beware.